by my wife. Uh,
Sorry, I hit record.
that's okay. That's okay. My I just got shushed by my wife because my son is taking a lighthouse test right now before his midterm, which is tomorrow. So yes, this is what we're talking about. Is this program? So obviously I got shushed because the ice maker was loud. But let's get into it. We'll do a presentation, and we'll leave the end of it for question and answers. And let me just share my screen. Tab here. There we go. Excellent. So welcome everyone. We're going to present to you the Soldiers in Tech program, which is a full ride scholarship program that's brought to you by the Roland Gossage Foundation and Lighthouse Labs in conjunction with the Ontario government. We'll be going over a pretty lengthy agenda. It does go by really quickly. Most of it will be talking about the courses themselves and what to expect. But we'll do quick introductions so we know you know who you have on the phone there and where to direct certain questions to. We'll talk about the goals of the program, a little bit about the foundation as well as Lighthouse Labs. We'll then cover the part-time courses as well as the full 12-week boot camp. We'll get into what the technical training is and what it encompasses and what you'll walk away from, as well as something that's pretty unique to this program, which is career services. And one of the reasons we picked Lighthouse Labs as a partner, I'd actually used them for my own business, a software business that I have, and drawn on their many talents. And this was one of the services that we tapped into to find some talent that we had needed to build out some of our teams. We'll talk a little bit about wellness. It's really important that both physically and mentally, everybody is good. So we've got a lot of support in the way of mentorship, both from a technical standpoint as well as just from a overall human standpoint. And then we'll talk about eligibility, which is fairly simple, and how to apply. And then we'll get into some question and answer. So fairly easy agenda to walk through. This will go by really quickly. Again, if you do have any questions you think are really relevant at the time, you can just sort of raise your hand. There's only a few people on the line, so don't be shy. You can also just write your questions down and leave them to the end as well. So very quick introductions. You've got Roland, Jennifer, and Alex on the line. Myself and Jennifer are from the foundation, and Alex is one of the many members of the Lighthouse team that we work very closely with in this program to help soldiers with the next phase of their career process. So a little about me, just so you know, hey, who is this guy? I served for 10 years, both Class A and Class B. Retired in 2003, so I've been out for a while. I was a member of the Governor General's Horse Guards of the GGs, non-commissioned officer, and still participate with the association and the regiment on a fairly regular basis, with some of even its duties on things like the Royal Winter Fair and the Queen's Cup and whatnot. So still very, very, very active, but this was my, ability to, after getting out, to help other members transition to the next phase of their career in life. So the high-level goals of the foundation was really to help Canadian veterans and their families, really to, from a social standpoint, bring awareness to corporate Canada and just the general population and this amazing asset that we have in our veterans, and also assist the public sector to find and retain top talent. This untapped resource, it's a very competitive market. It is very rewarding financially. It's also something that veterans bring to the table, which is we're very loyal. Obviously, probably one of the reasons we joined and served, and so really helping the private sector understand that these people are kind of in it to win it, but they're also they have certain traits that maybe a regular civvy wouldn't have. And then also for veterans to understand the opportunity in technology. I think that through the course of doing this for the last years, that we've learned that a lot of veterans don't actually think about this out of the box. We tend to get a little bit, I would say, railroaded into security only style stuff. I would tell you that was one of my jobs after release was security. And that follows even up to tech, where cybersecurity seems the default, right? So really helping a veteran understand that they can come in with very limited knowledge, and that this is one of the avenues in a very exciting industry to get into, and can really be a game and life changer by that. So we really want to educate them on the art of the possible. And we'll get through some of our numbers and some of our graduates, and we have all sort of different types, so quite a diverse group of graduates, and we'll talk about that. And just make sure that you can, you open this as a possibility in your mind as a possible next step. So, and maybe demystify a little bit about what is technology. How can I break that, visible barrier that I see in my mind, and do that. And the other thing too is obviously being an Ontarian and a Canadian. This mandate is under Ontario, but we as a foundation, it's a Canadian mandate. But for this program, we care about the prosperity of Ontario. Obviously, we've all dealt with COVID and its impact, and having a 9.5% unemployment. We want to do our part with the Ontario government and our partners, Lighthouse Lab, to contribute to the prosperity of Ontario. So again, the focus, the Roland Goss Foundation has basically two programs: Soldier and Tech, which is, I was a soldier, I got into tech, I wasn't classically educated, have a very good and rewarding career that's allowed me to actually create the foundation. It was, gave me the means to do that, so it's my way of giving back. And then we also have the soldiers in the arts, and we put a play on last year. Obviously, with COVID, that program has kind of stopped, but this one is perfect to take most of the focus until we all get through these vaccinations and the system opens back up. But the great news is that we've modified this program to be both COVID compliant and allows actually a great launch to a career, even in a COVID situation, as we come out of it. I'm going to turn over to Alex and tell a little bit about the great things that Lighthouse Labs does.
Thanks, Roland. So my name is Alex, and I'm a project manager with Lighthouse Labs. I've been working on the Soldiers in Tech program for about a year now, so really excited to continue to promote this program and get more veterans on board. But just to start, so you heard a little bit about who the Roland Gossage Foundation is, but a little bit about Lighthouse Labs. So we were founded in 2013 by a group of software developers who saw this vast technical talent gap in Canada and thought that there had to be a better way to quickly and efficiently train people to become developers without having to go through a very expensive and lengthy 4-year computer science degree. So since then, we've graduated over 3,000 developers into the Canadian market through rapid skills-based education. So here is a list of the 8 most in-demand jobs in Canada for 2021, according to Randstad. So all of these jobs require either data or web development skills, which is why we're offering these 2 part-time courses that I'm going to talk about today. So the first course is Intro to Data Analytics. So the idea behind Intro to Data Analytics is everybody has data, whether it's data sets from work, your screen time, but not everybody knows how to essentially read that data and make useful decisions from it. So we all need to learn how to analyze and interpret data, and is by far one of the most in-demand skills in North America. So this part-time course will help you get the most out of your existing data for better business decisions. So the Intro to Data Analytics courses is 6 weeks in length. It's 2 evenings per week, 3 hours per evening. And it's very hands-on. So we are trying to emulate the classroom environment as much as possible with this program. So we have a couple start dates. We've got June 29th, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we have July 3rd through August 8th on Saturdays and Sundays for 6 weeks. So I kind of touched on this a little bit, but data analytics refers to the process of inspecting, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data with the goal of discovering useful information and making supporting decisions. So really, this course is designed for any occupation. Really, it will just be a great asset to your resume, whether you're working a part-time job right now or if you're trying to upskill a little bit. This is really what this course is designed for. So this sort of things that you're going to learn. So you're going to learn how to ask the right questions of your data to tackle business challenges and measure data-driven success. You're going to determine what data should be collected, analyzed, and combined, based on your unique business goals or personal goals even. Learn how to extract insights from your data to help make more informed decisions. You'll learn how to ensure data quality to make sure your data is giving you accurate insights. You'll learn how to present your data-driven insights with impact so that you can present them effectively and share your findings with others. And most importantly, this course makes the use of existing free tools. So there's nothing that you would need to purchase in order to, partake in this course. So we're using Excel and the public version of Tableau. Okay, so the second part-time course is Introduction to Front End with JavaScript. So this one is also the same format as the data course. It's 6 weeks, 2 evenings per week, 3 hours per evening, and also very hands-on. You'll sit in a Zoom lecture with your video on to be able to ask questions, and there's lots of like code along activities that you'll be doing as well. So the dates for this are June 29th through August 5th and July 3rd through August 8th. So this program is designed for beginners. You can have zero knowledge of code to take this program. So the goal of this program is to transform you into somebody who understands the basics of JavaScript programming. So in 6 weeks, you'll go from no coding experience to structuring web pages with HTML, styling them with CSS, and adding dynamic functionality using JavaScript. So we'll round out the 6 weeks with a look at AJAX and API requests to enable your website to dynamically display information from other web services like Twitter and Google Maps. So what you will learn in this course. So Web Development 101, essentially. So we'll talk you through what does code mean and the intricacies of understanding like the syntax on your screen. The program is obviously heavily focused on JavaScript, hence the name. Interestingly, 95% of the world's websites are built using JavaScript. So even if you are in a tech adjacent role, this is a great course for you. So, if you are thinking about marketing or product or really anything, understanding and having a basic understanding of how websites are built is just incredibly useful nowadays, considering every company has a website or an app. All right, so the Web Development Bootcamp. So this is the third course that you can choose from as part of the Soldiers in Tech program. This course is very different from your part-time courses, and I'll kind of explain why. So the Web Development Bootcamp is 12 weeks in length. It's full-time, so we're looking at 40 to 60 hours of work per week. There is a roughly 70 hours worth of prep that you need to do before you start the course, and that's really just to ensure that everybody's on the same page when they start in day one. And there's an 8-to-1 mentor ratio. So what that means is anytime you have a question, there is a button in our learning management system that you can click on, and you'll have a mentor available within 10 to 20 minutes to answer any questions that you have about, your code. So the next upcoming start date is June 21st, and that'll end on September 10th. So there are kind of 4 main components to the bootcamp. So there's obviously the technical training. That's training in both front end and back end development. So you'll be a full stack junior developer when you come out of the program. There's career services, so individual support and workshops to help you land that dream developer job. And I'll talk about the career services portion more in depth later on in this presentation. We've got final projects. So you'll spend the last 2 weeks of the 12-week program actually working on a final project in groups that you'll present at the end to your friends and family and prospective employers as well. And finally, there's wellness support. So there's dedicated wellness officers to be there every step of the way with you. Okay, so this is a little timeline of how the 12-week program is broken up. So the first 2 weeks are JavaScript fundamentals. Weeks 3 through 5 are backend, front end, and databases. So you're looking at things like HTML and CSS, SQL and Postgres. And then after those weeks there, you're going to do a week of midterms. So that's the first time that you're actually going to be working in small groups to build a restaurant takeout app. So I think this is pretty incredible. You know, after just 6 weeks, you will be at the point where you can build a very functional takeout app for a restaurant. So weeks 7 and 8 are React. Weeks 9 and 10 are Ruby and Ruby on Rails. And weeks 11 through 12 are your final projects. So, you know, I like to say the program is about 80% JavaScript, and that other 20% is the Ruby and Ruby on Rails. Okay, so what will you be able to create? So our curriculum was created to simulate a real developer's job environment. I mean, the course was built by developers, so they did their best to make sure that it really simulated that job environment. So you're going to be exposed to industry relevant technologies and then immediately reinforce that knowledge by building applications and completing daily programming projects. So you're going to be pair programming in order to expose you to what it's like to looking at other people's code. You're going to be problem solving and debugging throughout the whole program. And the goal is to really get you as job ready as quickly as possible. We know that most of the learning you're going to do is in the year after boot camp on the job. But for now, we want to make sure that you have the portfolio to show that you can actually land that junior developer job, which is why the curriculum is so project-based. We're just helping you build up that portfolio. You're also going to have weekly individual projects. So I talked about that a little bit. And then finally, that midterm project and that final project as well. So kind of 5 important elements to the bootcamp. First is it's extremely hands-on. So you're only going to have about 2 hours of lecture per day. The rest is hands-on keyboard, coding away, really working on those mini apps and industry projects. The curriculum is project-based. So that kind of goes hand in hand with it being very hands-on. As I said, it is pretty much the opposite of your very theoretical 4-year university degree. There is significant mentor help. So I think I talked about that at the beginning of the presentation, where I said, if you ever have a question, there is a button in our learning management system. So our mentors are all across Canada. They are all developers who are working part-time as mentors. So it's also a really great networking opportunity. The program is very fast paced. So you've got about 10-hour days with that 60 hours to 70 hours of prep work. And finally, the program is fully online, so fully remote mentorship, lectures, and engagement.
One thing just to add here, and seeing the graduates come out, and as I probably mentioned at the beginning, my son is just about to go into midterm, so he saw what we were doing with the foundation and said, well, Dad, wouldn't this be applicable to me too? So he's on that career path, so we believe in it. It is tough. Like, it is definitely a tough course. I would like to be really honest about this. I think though that military people, when we go to, you know, whether you're taking your boot camp, your JLC, whatever it may be, absolutely we're used to this kind of pace, so that won't be far. And with the mentorship, you know, you'll quickly start to learn the ropes, like learning a new language. You're very, very similar. Once you kind of get it down and you get to that halfway point, it starts to become a lot easier. But the nice thing is that instead of doing a university multi-year course and investing years of your life in that, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, what I love about this is you learn all the practical stuff that an employer like myself, who hires developers on a monthly basis, what we look for, right? We look for the practicality. They're able to talk through things in a much more relevant way, and it's fresh. So actually, in a way, I think some of these boot camp graduates actually have a leg up on even someone coming out of a computer science degree. Much more hands-on, all practical. Everything that you learn, you'll use. There's none of that like, hey, I took a history course or an English course. You know, this is all stuff that you're going to use, and it's actually nice because in 12 weeks, you're ready to go. Actually, some people get hired even before they finish the graduation. So that nice thing with that career services is they actually kind of watch you progress. They watch the midterm as you present the applications, and some people are getting hired even before they're completing the course. So we'll get into the great opportunity here, but this is something that to me is quite exciting and actually bodes to the military way of thinking.
Thanks, Roland. So here are kind of two numbers that we like to highlight in terms of outcomes. So the first is our 93% employment rate. Um, so 93% of our graduates get hired within 120 days of graduation. 98% of our graduates get hired as a developer. So it's not like you're going to take this course and not be qualified for a junior developer role. 98% of our grads land a developer role. The second number here is $52,000. So that is the first average post bootcamp salary that we see for our students when they graduate.
And I would say that these numbers are a little dated, even though the data points that we have, and I start looking at our averages, that there's a ton of investment happening here in Toronto. Just to put an example, we have Netflix, Amazon, Wayfair, Reddit, all coming to Toronto. So the amount of jobs just in the GTA alone, forget the fact that everywhere else, it is insane. People are offering hiring bonuses and things like this because this is going to you are going to be a hot commodity. So it's actually the most exciting time I would say even I've seen in my career for a junior developer to get into it. And the ability to progress from these numbers up happens quite quickly. Retention is important, like I said. Employers will, within 2 or 3 years, you'd be looking at a six-figure salary, and it goes up there. And the range really for a intermediate to senior developer is between, and basically Toronto, I'll give you, it's 100 to 180,000 a year in the intermediate to senior. So as you progress in your career and you put the time in, every year it's the gift that keeps on giving. So progression is a lot faster than a regular job. You're not getting your 3% CPI, inflation number. It's much more aggressive because if you're good, they're going to want to keep you, and they keep having to pay. So just an important data point. It's just a little bit unique in the market right now.
For sure. And I'm glad you brought that up, Roland. Like, I was reading about Wayfair actually yesterday, and they are setting up purely their technical office in Toronto. So they're going to be hiring 400 developers and product managers for Wayfair. So I just want to talk for a minute about career services. So we're talking about all these great jobs. So what does Lighthouse do to help you land those jobs? The first is we're going to help you with your job search. So we're going to show you how to identify your software development strengths and interests, how to define and best market your transferable skills. So we do have some actual specific military resources available so that you are able to translate your military experience into a resume that is also a developer's resume. And finally, how to use different networking tools and strategies. So that's part of the job search category. The second is interview help. So you're going to discover resources to assist in the preparation for technical and whiteboard interviews. That's something that's actually laced throughout the technical program. You're going to be doing technical and whiteboarding interviews with mentors throughout the 12 weeks. And that's really just to make sure that at the end of this, you know how to talk through code and explain your code. You're also going to prepare for both the technical and non-technical parts of an interview and successfully complete interview coding challenges. So all of that are things that we cover. And the resume. So you're going to discover resume design resources such as Canva, as well as how to develop a targeted resume for the software development industry.
And this is really important. These part of the components have been hugely valuable to our graduates. A lot of the time, and we've all heard imposter syndrome and stuff like this. We make sure that you go in confident. You've got the playbook. We run through, even faux interviews and things like that. So you feel really prepped and confident going into that. It makes all the difference when you're in front of someone. So we'll help build that confidence. We'll give you the tools. You're supported all the way through this, and even I would say one piece kind of missing this is throughout your career. So being an alumni of Lighthouse never ends. It's something that I think is always great because they, even when you're saying, okay, I'm kind of ready to take the next thing, I'm looking at some jobs, they'll help you even then. So it never really ends. This is an evergreen participation, and something that I think is pretty unique to the system. So wellness is important. Confidence. We're going to build all these things in you. We're making a very pointed investment in all of the aspects. So we want to make sure things come up in personal life. We've had stuff happen to people during the course. You have a wealth of support from the technical side, but you also have it from the wellness side, right? So helping you, navigate through something that might come up. Maybe you're just having a bad week. That's what we're here for. Talk you through it, how we can support. We have two PhDs in psychology on staff. We have myself, a veteran. I actually did all the pre-work and everything like that for this course to make sure that I could mentor in a good way, and I've even actually helped work through some of the actual program, like real program stuff, so I know what to expect. So you've got that. You've got Jennifer. We're really there to help, make sure that you're feeling confident, that you're successful, and that you get through the entire program and start that next phase of your life. So I think it's really important. We're going to check up on you, even if you're doing great. We've had some people like love it. They've been superstars, and they still get a call. Just even if it tells, hey, everything's great, no problem. We're going to make sure that you get the love and attention. So eligibility is pretty straightforward. If you have served either in the reserve force or in the reg force, that qualifies you to be that. And either you're on your it could be you're on your medical discharge, so you can still be active and on your way out, but you need to be, you can't have 3 years to go in your contract or something like that, and in particular in the course. So that's the really only qualifier. Not, but if you are a veteran or you are releasing, in this year, then you're eligible. And so the interesting thing is that and then you think that this is a good thing that you want to do, and you want to put the effort into to getting there. So that's really, it's fairly easy. Most people who are interested get in. We're actually, we're not trying to weed out anything. It's maybe not like basic training in that sense. We're trying to make sure we get everybody in, but we also set the right expectation, get you mentally ready to participate in either the full or part-time courses. So yeah, we'll just go over to the application process. I'll let you do that one, Alex. It's fairly straightforward.
For sure. So there is a application form that you will fill out online. As soon as you fill out that application form, you will get an email from myself that will invite you to essentially complete a group interview with Lighthouse Labs. At that point, you will work on a short JavaScript module that is like essentially just a technical quiz. So we'll give you a couple modules of JavaScript to study, and you'll go ahead and do that quiz as part of the interview process. And then finally, you'll just have a quick chat with Roland at the end of it all, just to say hello and to show that he's here to support you. And then for our part-time courses, it's as simple as just filling out an online application form.
So we always like to talk this. We've been we had a slow start with COVID hit right when we were launching this program. So the team did a great job of pivoting and moving everything online and making it accessible even going forward. But we've got over 25 people now, and soon a few more signups that are going to do that. Our goal is by the end of the year is to get to 45. So we're kind of at the halfway mark to get 45 people through the program. So there are definitely seats, and there's programs, as we talked about, with the dates coming up. So we have Jared here. This is just a couple of examples, and then we have Clinton, and then we have Ali. All great guys. I just talked to Ali the other day. Clint, by the way, actually works for one of my companies now. So we lucked in there. He's great. I was just on a call with Twitch today. So if anybody's familiar with the gaming service Twitch, he's building a rewards platform for one of our customers, which is doing a partnership with Twitch. So he's like right in the thick of some of the biggest tech company stuff that's going on right now. Video games, really enjoying it. He's turning into quite the superstar already, and it's only been a couple of months. But as you see, it's like, what is that? The hair club president. But I'm also a client. It's kind of that old commercial. So obviously believe heavily in the quality of the people that go into the course, and then the quality of experience they have coming out of it. So just some great things. We have this on our Instagram. You can read these in your own time. But our goal is to get another 25. So not only if it's interest for you, we want to get you applied, get you on course, but we'd also ask you to pay it forward and make sure that there are other people that you think are struggling maybe with what to do next in their career. That you share this information, and if you're joining, to encourage others to join with you. So that concludes the regular session part of the program, and now we'll open up the floor to anybody who has any questions about what we covered.
And if there are no questions, it is because we're very thorough.
We have got better over time. I would say. As we got questions, we did try to make sure it was thorough there. But by the way, there's no, don't think that there's any, the proverbial, there's no dumb questions, only dumb answers. So anything that you have in your head, and again, if you don't feel like doing that, you can contact Jennifer after if you want to ask something privately as well that you don't want to say out loud, and we want to make sure that you get all the information that you need.
Hello, my name is Kyle Hawkins. Great presentation. I don't really have any questions because, like you indicated, you guys were very thorough in your brief. There was no pricing mentioned for these courses. I'm assuming all that will be on your website / application form. How much are we looking at?
So the course normally costs, if you were coming in off the street and not a veteran, it would cost, what is it, $15,000?
$13,000.
$13,000. So it's a $13,000 program. What we do is the Roland Gossage Foundation actually gives you a full scholarship. So we pay that fee for you as part of it. It does not affect. There is obviously the veteran. There's a fund, an education fund. It does not impact that. It's not part of that budget. This is sheerly coming from the foundation. Directly we pay on your behalf. And the other thing too is we give you a brand new MacBook to actually do the coding with. So that's roughly a $2,000 computer that we include in that. So the total value for you is about $15,000. It does not affect any of the things that you have as part of your veteran facilities that you have access to. It is as bursary from the Roland Gossage Foundation. So you basically just have to prove that, yes, I'm a veteran and I am eligible, and we will take care of the rest.
Excellent. Your dates still work for me because I'm not releasing from the CAF until 2022. And so I probably won't be available for training until that time. But do you guys offer fall sessions as well?
So this current program goes to the end of 2021. We are planning to run it again in 2022. So when you get ready to release, we'll probably circle back with us. You can hit Jennifer directly. We'll try to. You can also go through the website as well, the Roland Gossage Foundation website. So when you get closer, ready, check in with us. We'll then check what's available. But our plan is also to do it in 2022, so we can line those up with when you're releasing.
Oh, sorry, you're asking me when I'll be releasing?
No, you said 2022, but when you're ready,
Yeah.
circle back with us, because we don't have dates that far out. This program really, the dates that we have for only cover the end of 2021. So we
Okay.
do not have any dates for 2022 yet, but our plan is we will have them.
Okay, good.
And what month are you, by the way? What month did you get out?
I'm targeting around May, but I may also be releasing medically, so it could be a little bit longer than that. But I'm
Okay.
targeting hopefully May 2022-ish.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say if and you'll know as you get closer, but I would say, the sort of March timeframe, you should probably, contact us and then get the lay of the land there. That'll be far enough out. We'll have hopefully some dates, but that you'll have a better idea of if it is May. Because what you don't want to do is sign up and then, all of a sudden, and things do happen. It's 3 weeks and now you can't start on time. So we'll stay close and work through that with you.
That's great. No, thank you very much for the information. That's all I have.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining. And then we have a hand up. Oh, Jamie.
Hey, Roland, it's
Hey,
me.
mate, how you doing?
Happy Christmas. I'm still waiting for my bloody Christmas card. So, hi everyone, Jamie from southwest of England, where I think the bandwidth at the start of the call is about as good as the tunnels under